Molweni. So I'm going to teach you how to make a chicken from frozen chicken. So this is a 5 kg chicken that I bought, frozen chicken, and I used it in pasta. You know how we always use mince for pasta? Some people will have white sauce in their pasta. So I'm just going to show you another simple way that you can make chicken pasta. So that was my chicken frozen, and I'm defrosting it basically in the pot. This is pumpkin that I had in the deep freezer. I froze it, and then I defrosted it in the pot. This video is going a bit fast. I defrosted it, so that's the part where you saw there. I was just spicing it with sugar and butter and a bit of salt. So these are my spices now. You can see the names on the bottles. I tried to make these spice stickers myself. Didn't turn out too bad. Took me too long though to make them. But at least I can see what's in what, which bottle is for what. This is a new spice that I tried out from Nando's. Um, I don't really know what it tastes like because I always mix it with a lot of stuff. So can't really give you a review on it just yet. This legacy one I preferred over Six Gun Bright Spice. However, they both just as good, but I feel like this one has more salt. This is my secret ingredient in everything. Fish spice on chicken, fish spice on beef, fish spice on fish, fish spice on eggs. This is bay leaves. If you don't know what bay leaves are, they're also a herb. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think bay leaves are a herb. That was beef stock, and this is Himalayan salt. It's the healthier version of the normal table salt, and this is Worcestershire sauce. Worcester sauce, man. Here I've got tomatoes, an onion, green pepper, dill that I did not use at the end of all of this. Parsley, I used it just to garnish at the end. For those who don't know, garnish means to decorate your plate really. And then those green things, kanene babies and don't land to green. Eh, it's a family in the onion family, man. Forgot the name. So my chicken has defrosted now. We're gonna keep this water for later. That water that you see there, that's chicken stock. Okay, so you don't throw that out. This oil is leftover oil from chicken that we had fried about 2 days ago. I keep my oil, so I'm using that now, which means this oil also has flavor from all the spices of the previous meat. And then here I've got my pepper, my onion, and one chili. Yazi, when you're married to someone who loves things that you don't, eventually end up using it as well. So here I am using a chili in my food, which is something I hardly do. My chicken is now defrosted. It's soft. Please get yourself these knives. You know these chef knives that they usually have where you fill up a book with stickers in a store and then they tell you can choose something? I got mine from Food Lovers Market. Now when I chopped up all the other meat, it was literally gliding through the bones. Then when I pressed record, it just didn't do what it's supposed to do. Yeah. Anyway, here I am struggling with the knife, but I promise you this knife is extremely sharp. I was trying to brag to you guys how how good this knife is. It's a chef's knife. And I'm cutting through the bones, but for some reason it's like when you have a kid and you tell the kid, show your auntie what you can do, and then the kid just doesn't do it. Those onions, by the way, the thing in the onion family is green onion. Okay. I think. I know it. I just don't remember now. The chicken that I have defrosted in the pot, I'm now putting it in that onion and green pepper. Here I am just throwing it all in there. Nothing wasted with the bones. Okay, you can shred the chicken. If you don't have a sharp enough knife, you can use a fork and you just shred it with your fork, or you can wait for the chicken to cool off. Then you shred it with your hands, and you can use kids in the house to help you do that, and they love that. And then you can give the bones either to your dog or to the kids to chew on while they wait for the food. All those spices I showed you earlier, I've now poured in there. I do find that it is much easier when you pour your spices on a plate beforehand, and then you can just pour everything at once. It kind of does save time. Not much time, but it does. That one beef stock then I've poured in there as well, and I poured one because all of these spices have their own salt in them. And now I'm just stirring everything together, coat all the meat and the onions with it. And then these are bones from chicken mayo that we made prior. This is now the morning of the thingy. It was chicken mayo from the kids' lunch. I kept those bones. Do not judge me for pouring bones in my pouring bones from this morning. The reason I kept them is because there is flavor in bones. People actually use bones. Chefs use bones to make chicken stock. So if you didn't know, now you know. The reason I'm pouring sugar here is because there's tomatoes. Tomatoes are acidic. So you always have to pour sugar when you use tomatoes. If you want to be healthy, I guess you could then use something sweeter just to take away that acid. As you can see now, I've poured salt and I've poured Worcester sauce. This is that chicken stock from the chicken that I had boiled prior. You pour that in there. You don't throw it out, guys. I know people who throw out this water, and no, you should not. Please use it as part of your stew. Okay, so while you wait for your stew to boil, then this is your chance to clean up the kitchen, wash the dishes, get a child involved, get anyone involved really who's home. If you live alone, then I guess sorry, you're on your own. This is my oldest daughter. She's 11. So I try to involve her as much as I can in the kitchen. She's actually doing quite well when it comes to making meals on her own. You'll start seeing her making meals, but you might not be able to comment because YouTube doesn't allow you to open the comment section if it's a child. See how she's yawning here? I think I was in the kitchen for at least 3 hours by this time. So she wanted to go sleep, but she was also hungry, so she had to wait. The unfortunate part is I work full time, so the only time to cook really is in the evening. I could have pre-boiled the chicken maybe the morning while I bath or the night before, but there really is no time for doing about pre-meals and all that stuff. That knife, I always make sure that it goes straight into the drawer because it's really sharp. So as soon as I wash it, I put it back in. Yeah, so we're just cleaning up here really. Um, the meat is now boiling on a low heat. All those spices and the juices coming nicely together. You make sure that your stove is on a medium heat, not too low, not too high, somewhere in the middle. Um, and what else? And yeah, if you've got anything else going on in the meantime, I was also defrosting meat for the following day while I was waiting for that and washing the dishes. Sometimes I would do two meals at once. That's if I have enough energy to do that. But this particular day, I defrosted meat for the following day, and my plan was to marinate it and show you what marinade I'm using for it. And I was going to put it in the fridge. That's also a nice way to have flavor in your food. So when you buy these frozen chickens, defrost it in water, let all the ice out, or pour hot water on it so that it defrosts faster just to get the ice off. Frozen chicken usually doesn't have a lot of taste. It does taste a bit watery compared to the ones in the trays. So you would have to make some slits in the meat with a knife, and then you spice it, and you put it in a freezer bag or a normal plastic bag from the shops, and you put it back in the fridge, but not in the deep freezer if you're going to use it the next day. Because if you put it in the deep freezer, then those spices now lie in ice, and then when it defrosts, then there's water with your meat, so it kind of defeats the purpose. Okay, now I've made pasta here, and I'm mixing everything together. You don't have to do this. You can always now, firstly, pasta you have to rinse with cold water. Okay, that's very important, because if you use hot water, it's gonna stick together. Other people pour oil in their water, but the Italians say it's wrong to use oil when you boil a pasta because the gravy is not going to stick to the pasta. So I don't use oil anymore. But a trick is that you can pour the oil on the pasta after you've rinsed it so that it doesn't stick together. Okay, but always rinse with cold water. So I've mixed it, but I'm mixing it because I want the flavor to stay in there. Also because this pot is full and I'm gonna do is kaftinezi for lunch as well. And I want that pasta to stay coated with the flavors. Otherwise you can pour your pasta in first dry and then the gravy.